How do we print the word? We use 这个排版啊，排版印刷技术 typography. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle. 它连续用了3个形容词哈 ，beautiful, historical, subtle. But he said artistically subtle. 在艺术上很精妙。Very subtle means very subtle. How do I say subtle? Not accurate. Subtle means a small distance, small detail. Okay? In a way that science can capture. And I found it fascinating. He's a science people, he's tech people, right? He think art, like drawing, the beautiful part of the art is that science cannot capture. Okay? That time, of course, cannot capture. Now digitization, sometimes we can replay the beauty of the traditional art, but not perfectly. I find it fascinating. This word is very good. Fascinate. I sometimes use interest. But if you say you are fascinated, you are more than interested. You love it. You 着迷了. You may forget eating, forget sleeping. You fascinating. Okay, it's fascinating. Okay, next. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. Okay, he was talking about the dot. At that time, he didn't know why, what kind of application he can get benefit from by learning this shape. But 10 years later, when he first designed the Macintosh, you know, Macintosh, well known for its GUI, user interface, graphical user interface, right? So compared to IBM, Microsoft, Macintosh, people think, oh, they are more artistic design. They have more multimedia feature. But where does all this stuff come from? From the Steve Jobs' mind in the beginning? No. From what they have learned in the past. Okay? But he didn't know 10 years ago. But they all come back. They all came back when they designed the first Macintosh. Okay? And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced font. And since Microsoft Windows just copy the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them. 这里讲很快，还在嘲笑一下那个 Microsoft， 为什么？那时候他们在打官司，他说 Windows 是抄 Mac 的 ，Windows 的 idea 是抄 Mac， 你们可能年纪太小不知道这个事情，所以他讲到这一段，大家都在笑啊，他酸一下啊。他的确，如果说 Windows 是抄 Mac 的，如果麦金塔没有第一个向量字 proportional font， 我们现在的电脑排版不会这么方便。We won't have the Word Microsoft Word to print out the beautiful documents directly through laser printer. No, everything is impossible. So you can, how one people's work can influence next generation. Okay, let's continue. Move on. If I had never dropped out, 如果我那时候没退学 I would have never dropped in that calligraphy class, and the personal computer may not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in the college. But it is very, very clear looking backward 10 years later. 一般一个好的演讲，不是第一句很棒，就是最后几句。我觉得这里真很棒。如果你看得懂这个意思哈，中文的意思。当然那时候我在学的时候，这些点滴都串不起来。可是现在10年后，往回看，就是那么一回事。这些点全部串起来了。你现在做的东西，你觉得没有用，有用的人，你 follow 自己的兴趣去做，做得很高兴，没关系。对，也许你10年后，你发现你的 business 跟这个有关，你的 business 可能跟音乐有关，你的 business 可能跟你吉他的经验有关，不知道。好，我再念一次。Of course, it was impossible to connect the dot. Looking forward, OK? 来，我解释一下哈。My bag is my past. So now, this moment, right now, future, OK? So, if we looking forward, how do I know what I have done related to the future? Because the future is the future, not happen, right? But if you shift the time, we have a time machine. Now I become 42 years old, Steve Jobs maybe 50. They look backward. Oh, what I did in my high school, what I did in my college, what I did in my job. They have all reason, and the things all connected together. It's so clear. Okay? This let us know you have to follow your heart. If you do something in the past because of for other people's purpose, you are not happy. You cannot enjoy. Of course, things you cannot enjoy, you cannot do it very well. Okay? Even though the things you have done may be not big successful, but at least that's what you love. So you enjoy the process. Maybe that time the result is okay, but they have a potential in the future because the pleasure of the learning. Okay? That happened to Steve Jobs about the learning type, font, that influenced the human beings. Computerized word processing, right? Okay, next, move on. My second story is about love and loss. I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in my life. Waltz, his friend, 他的一个好朋友叫 Waltz 啊，有一次来台湾哈，他写了一本书啊。Waltz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. Well, it was. In garage, 车库. We worked hard, and in 10 years, 10年后, in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in the garage grown from one place into another situation, into a 2 billion company. The beginning, only 2 people, Waltz and Steve Jobs. 10 years after, the company grows so successfully and become this price have a 2 billion US dollar, not NT dollar.